Now the news in detail. Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has declared low turnout of electorates in Rumuda community in preparation for the October 5 local government area election in Rivers State. RISIEC Chairman Honorable Justice Adolphus Enebele retired expressed his pleasure during the official unveiling of voters' register for the October 5, 2024 local government area in Ward 2, Unit 10 and 11, Rumuda Town Hall, adding that the display of the register will be carried out in all the 6,866 polling units in the 23 local government areas of Rivers State.
We are here this morning to formally leading to the local government council elections fixed for Saturday, 5th October 2024. The display of voters registered offers citizens the opportunity to confirm that their names are on the register. It further enables to be certain of which polling unit or booth to cast his vote. And more importantly, it enables the citizens to verify that those who are contesting for political positions as councillors, vice chairman, or chairman are on the register as required by law.
Enebele called on the good people of Rivers State to turn out en masse to vote candidates of their choice on Saturday, 5th October 2024. He assured that the security agencies are on alert to deal with miscreants and those planning to foment trouble.
The 2024 local government council elections is less than 10 days away. I will therefore seize this opportunity to call on the good people of Rivers State to turn out en masse to vote candidates of their choice on Saturday, 5th October 2024. We want a peaceful and fraudulent-free election. The security agencies are alert to deal with miscreants and those planning
that this election will hold. And with what we are seeing on ground, we are sure and we know that you're fully prepared for the election.
Analysts have extolled the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State for openly excluding itself from the October 5 local government polls. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst, George Chinda, said it is a move in the right direction for the People's Democratic Party considering the court issues pending in regards to the local government election.
It will be a sham election, so for the PDP to have resolved not to take part, I think I want to commend the leadership of the party in the state, respecting the law. It is for the law to say whether those who want to conduct the election are in contempt or not. But for now,
Chinda expressed uncertainty in compliance to the rule of law by the governor of Fubara concerning October 5 local government polls.
Then that the governor will obey the order. He would not want them to expend, whatever money they have in going for campaigns and all of that. You can see you're in this state that the campaigns have intensified. So what that means is that the governor is not ready to obey the court order. So, but this is not new. This is not new. It is not left for the courts to assert their independence.
This is coming after the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State has stated its reasons for boycotting the upcoming local government election scheduled for October 5, while State PDP Chairman Aaron Chukwemeka cited an ongoing legal case initiated by Tony Okocha-led faction of the All Progressives Congress APC as a key factor in the decision. Delta State Governor Sheriff has empowered 6,020 farmers with agricultural inputs to boost agricultural production and food security in the state. Speaking during the flag-off of the disbursement and ultimately improve the livelihood of thousands of Delta people. The governor urged the beneficiaries to make use of the opportunity to the growth of the agricultural sector in the state. Earlier in his remarks, the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Chairman of the CARE Steering Committee, Sonny Ekedayen, said 6,020 farmers were to be empowered under the resort area, to which the food security component of the CARE's program, adding that the agricultural sector remains an important pillar of the state's economy. Independent National Electoral Commission Dennis Idahosa, the certificates were issued to them by INEC's National Commissioner in charge of Edo, Rhoda Dumos, on Thursday, 5 days after Okpebholo and his deputy were declared the winner of the poll. The issuance of certificates of return has officially confirmed Okpebholo and Idahosa as the governor and deputy governor of Edo, and Okpebholo will succeed Governor Godwin Obaseki, who will leave Osadebe House on November 11 after completing 2 terms in office. Okpebholo, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, was declared the winner of the tightly contested Edo governorship election, while the returning officer for the election and Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, MENA, Professor Farouk Kuta, announced the results of the INEC Collation Center in Benin City. Okpebholo scored 291,667 votes, winning 11 out of the 18 local government areas in the state, and his closest rival, Asue Igodalo of the People's Democratic Party, obtained 247,274 votes, winning the 7 local government areas in the state. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno has empowered farmers across the 3 senatorial districts of the state with 12,000 bags of fertilizers and improved seedlings to boost production. Eno, who disclosed this while flagging off the 2024 second planting season of Uruan local government area, reiterated his administration's commitment to take agriculture to the next level, where young people will see farming as a business, adding that the flourishing agricultural vegetation, it was inexcusable for anyone not to plant at least what he sees or what he consumes. He commended the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Ofo, and the entire ministry for the passion that they have exhibited in carrying out their agricultural revolution vision of government through the provision of farm inputs, seedlings, fertilizer, and other tools that will ensure a bountiful harvest in next season, and also applauded the Federal Ministry of Agriculture for partnering with the state to ensure that fertilizer, seedlings, and other farm inputs are available or given to portfolio farmers. The governor appreciated different stakeholders in the agricultural sector for defining all challenges to be part of the flag-off, and directed the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Ofo, to ensure that necessary support is given to genuine farmers in the state. Chairman of the Cross River State Independent Electoral Commission, Dr. Eko Boko, says processes towards the conduct of local government elections day begin September 25, 2024. At a meeting with the leaderships of all the political parties in the state in his office, Boko said the conduct of the party primaries, including the resolution of disputes arising from primaries, commences as he's speaking and could terminate on October 25. He assured that all the registered political parties will be given a level playing field as well as a peaceful environment to achieve a credible and acceptable election in the state. However, People's Democratic Party Chairman Venashos Ikem says they would have boycotted the election because of the hasty amendment of the law to conduct the election. Chairman of the Labour Party Caretaker Committee, John O'Shea, and the Young Progressives Party, Anthony Besong, said the local government election were long overdue, while Governor Basio too assented to the amended Cross River electoral law passed by the State House of Assembly, which stipulated a 4-year tenure for elected local government officials. Rival national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Chief Edozie Njoku and Sly Ezo Kenwa, clashed over the threat by Njoku to suspend the Anambra State Governor, Professor Soludo, and others for alleged anti-party activities. Njoku was in Abuja, issued the threat to suspend Soludo after attending a proceeding at the Federal High Court regarding a suit that was filed by those he described as Soludo's loyalists. But Ezo Kenwa's media aide described Njoku's threat to suspend Soludo as absurd, insisting that his principal remained the authentic APGA chairman, while Njoku, who said the suit was aimed at securing an interim injunction to stop the Independent National Electoral Commission from recognizing him as the authentic APGA national chairman, said he was glad that Justice James Omotosho refused to grant the application. Njok also said ahead of the off-cycle governorship election in the state in 2025, the party has no sole candidate for the election and doubts if Soludo could even emerge victorious from the party's primaries, adding that anyone interested in becoming the governor of Anambra State should come forward and go through the process, which according to him would be seamless. Attempts to get Soludo's reaction were unsuccessful as his press secretary Christian Abureme did not pick up his calls. Anambra State government says it will start paying the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira from October. Governor Chukwuma Soludo disclosed this at a meeting with principals and head of teachers and public primary secondary schools at Professor Dora Kuyini's Women's Development Center, OCAD. This is coming after Soludo had previously announced a free education policy for primary and junior secondary schools, adding that the state will maintain full free education for all primary pupils as well as junior and senior secondary school students. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo says 77 communities in the state lack public schools and his administration is working to address the concern and provide options for Anambra people, assuring to continue to provide resources for continuous learning by teachers. Soludo, who disclosed this at a meeting with the head of public schools in Anambra, said securing the future of the children is a collective effort to maintain fiscal sustainability. The governor enumerated the strides of his administration in all sectors of state economy, including recruitment of 8,115 teachers, recruitment of 1,000 doctors and health personnel, empowerment of 5,000 youths, and additional 8,000 youths in skill entrepreneurship scheme. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has warned that China could be taking over some assets belonging to Nigeria in no time. The rights group sounded the alarm over an alleged memorandum of understanding signed between the governor Peter Mba-led government and Chinese companies, adding that such MOU could lead to the seizure of Nigerian assets in future if legal disputes over contentious land in Enugu were not properly resolved. The rights group said it was deeply concerned that Mba recently entered into agreements with some Chinese companies while allegedly giving away the ownership of ancestral lands in Ugwaji, Okunano, despite ongoing litigations over the land. Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria warned the governor was allegedly undermining the rule of law by signing away the land to foreign companies while legal cases were still pending, adding that the association drew parallels to a similar incident in Ogun State involving former Governor Senator Ibikunle Amosun, while reminding the public of the disastrous consequences when the Ogun State government entered into a transaction with the Chinese company without the federal authorization. It also called on the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs to clarify whether the Nigerian president was aware of the MOU signed by the Enugu state government with Chinese companies, stressing that the president's visit to China coincided with Governor Mba's trip, yet it has been. Federal High Court in Lagos has remanded Lagos drug baron Jimoh Suleiman, popularly known as Temo, following his arraignment by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency over multiple drug trafficking allegations. Temo, also referred to as Godfather and 001, is facing an amended 6 counts, including membership of a drug trafficking organization, importing, possessing, trafficking, and dealing 704 kilograms of cannabis sativa, also known as Ghana Loud, and concealing illicit funds. The NDLEA's Deputy Commander and Head of Legal Department of Lagos, Lambert Noor, who prosecuted the case during the arraignment, told the court that Temo, along with 4 others currently at large, Ojo Emmanuel, Wasiu Olayinka Saliu, Taufik Noah, and Kazim, operated the drug ring between Nigeria and Ghana from 2020 to 2024. According to him, the offences committed contravene Section 20, subsection 1G, Section 14, subsection B, 18, subsection A, 20I, 11B, and 11C of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act, Cap 30 Laws Federation of Nigeria 2004, with Temo pleaded not guilty to all the charges preferred against him. Temo's lawyer, Benson Ndakara, a former NDLEA employee, accused the agency of conducting a media trial against his client, while Ndakara confirmed that a bail application had been filed but stated that he would be moved at a later date, and also requested a day-to-day trial in line with Section 296 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Oyo State government has reviewed the promotion of 1,629 workers, including nurses, who were adversely affected by administrative error during 2017 to 2020 promotion exercise. The government also approved 25 million naira as compensation for the composers of the state anthem, Asiwaju Niwa. A statement by the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade, after the State Executive Council meeting, said the government also approved the prayers of the state head of service, Mrs. Olubumi Oni, for the reinstatement of 47 civil servants who were wrongly dismissed from the service during the last administration. The release also said 124 workers sacked in 2012 had equally been pardoned, while the council upheld the dismissal of 823 workers laid off by the previous administration on grounds of fake certificate submission, stressing that about 180 workers employed at the twilight of the exit of the last administration in 2019 had their termination approved by the council. Approving the compensation for the anthem composers, Governor Seyi Makinde acknowledged the initiative and foresightedness of the wife of the former governor, Chief Mrs. Florence Ajimobi, adding that the composers would be given a parcel of land each and have streets named after them, while the Ministry of Information and Orientation will produce a documentary on the history behind the anthem. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says his government has taken several actions to lessen the burden of the residents amid economic challenges facing the people. He said through the actions and his engagements with residents by his administration, which enabled them to have input in the state's budget, the economic landscape has changed drastically over the last 5 years. The governor also said 32-kilometer east-west ring section of the Ibadan Circular Road spanning Lagos-Ibadan Expressway of Badeku village in Ibadan Ile-Ife Road would be ready by 2025 and would be the first freeway in Nigeria. The governor, who disclosed this at a stakeholders consultative meeting in the 2025 budget and the unveiling of the Oyo Agenda 2040 held at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan, unveiled the 5-year medium-term development plan 2023-2027, driven by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and the United Nations Children's Fund and the University of Ibadan Ventures Limited. He said with the agenda of his administration strategy was to focus on the avenues that could add value and create an environment for decent jobs for the people, adding that the 2024 budget had been implemented up to 53%. I was looking forward to 90% implementation by the end of the year. Ogun State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists has condemned the arrest of one of its members, Sheung Odunlami, by operatives of Nigeria Police from Lagos State Police Command. A statement signed by Secretary Bumi Adugun on Thursday described the arrest as shocking and unlawful, adding that the justable manner of which Odunlami was picked on Wednesday by plainclothed officers very close to the Secretariat of the Union, SAD, and a better forgotten military era when journalists were hounded into detention by any slight provocation, albeit unfounded allegations. Odunlami, said to be the publisher of News John's Online, was reportedly arrested on Wednesday by operatives of Lagos State Police Command and demand the immediate and unconditional release of Sheung Odunlami was priority of the Union, while a detailed explanation for the circumstances surrounding his adoption, as well as an investigation into the actions of the police operatives, was ongoing. When contacted, the spokesman of the Ogun State Police Command, Superintendent of Police Omolola Odutola, said that no official report has been made against the arrest of the journalist, but the command will swing into action to help locate his whereabouts. Meanwhile, the chairman of Ogun NUJ, Wale Olariwaju, said that the kind of assistance of the State Police Command, the union had established contact with the Special Fraud Unit on Lagos, and they confirmed that the journalist is with them and might be arraigned either today or tomorrow in court. 5 persons involved in the Offa robbery incident found guilty of illegal possession of firearms, armed robbery, and culpable homicide. Justice Halima Salman of the Kwara State High Court said the offences are punishable by death. The incident happened in April 2018. Federal Capital Territory Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board has asked intending pilgrims of 2025 Hajj exercise to make payment of 8.4 million as an initial deposit. A statement signed on Thursday by the board's chief information officer Ahmed Sela on behalf of the chairman Malam Abubakar Damu Evuti said intending pilgrims were to make the payment at any commercial bank via bank draft and submit the draft at respective area offices of the board and the 6 area councils of the FCT. Sela also said the board did not accept cash deposits or registration of proxy, adding that pilgrims would be attended to on a first-come, first-served basis. The statement said the prospective intending pilgrims are to submit the bank draft to the board's respective area officers at the 6 area council of FCT, while the prospective intending pilgrims are to note that the board does not accept cash deposits and does not entertain registration by proxy. It strictly adheres to the principles of first-come, first-served basis. FCT administration has begun the rehabilitation of 18-kilometer in Yaya Kashi Road by the order of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Honorable Minister FCT Yosumike, who disclosed this during the project site visit, said he noticed the road was not in good condition for motorists to use when he used it to Karahi for the inspection and should be given urgent attention.
Yes, you know that what attracted me to that road, if you remember, when we came to this Karachi Aporo last time, we took that road and I saw how bad the road was, and I said, no, this is not acceptable to us. And we wrote to Mr. President, and he approved that there should be immediate rehabilitation of that road. And we are doing it under emergency. And so we had to contract the SEC to see how they can rehabilitate that road. It's a 18-kilometer road, 18 kilometers. So, and we have street lights, you know, and they have given us 8 months to be able to complete that road. I know how important that road is because so many agencies of government are along that road. So if that road is finished and is being rehabilitated, and then this road is also completed, then we are free to go. So that's why we are doing the president order that there must be emergency rehabilitation of that particular road.
Wike, who lauded the ongoing Apokarahi Road construction site, was unhappy because there was no improvement in the work done by the contractor since his visit to the site 2 months ago. But for love and passion for the residents of Abuja, he promised to release more money for the contractor to ensure completion of the project by April next year.
We believed that if the contractors are moved back to site, obviously we thought that within 7 months that ought to have completed, but unfortunately the contractors were not able to move to site because of some procurement processes. But thank God we have passed that stage now and have also been mobilized to move to site. I still have my doubts. I will not lie to you. I still have my doubt, but they are still insisting that by April they would have completed this project. It's a project that's very dear to us. We know the importance of this road. So many people are eager to see that this project is completed on time so that it will ease off a lot of traffic and also will boost the economic activities of this area. Let us give them the benefit of doubt. I believe that they will play their own part. We are doing what we're supposed to do. The funds are there to be given to them. And we believe that if they put more effort, if I come here again and see that they've improved on what we've seen on ground today, I will tell the finance and the treasury department to release further funds to them. But for now, let's watch them. So many people don't understand when you cancel projects. There are a lot of implications for it. And so don't want to, there are financial implications, there are the legal implications, so many things. So what we are saying that we will continue to encourage the contractor to see that he finishes this project on time. because we are ready, we have any problems on our own part. That's why from time to time, I will come here to see that this project is completed on time.
Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago has sounded the alarm over the high number of lives lost to the boat accident in the state, with a staggering 182 casualties recorded in the past 3 years. The governor, through his deputy, Comrade Yakubu Garba, spoke at the 2024 World Maritime Day celebration and distribution of 33 fiberglass boats held at the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission headquarters in Mina on Thursday. The current situation, he said, the huge number of loss government had incurred as a result of both mishaps in the state is unacceptable and urged all to walk the talk to halt the menace. Bago also commended and Hyperdeck for their timely intervention, acknowledging that the gesture will greatly alleviate the suffering of the riverine communities, while reiterating the state government's commitment to ensuring the safety of inland waterways for year-round transportation. Earlier, the managing director of Hyperdeck, Alhaji Abubakar Sadiq Elwa, explains that the 2024 World Maritime Day coincided with the commissioning of fiberglass boats to be distributed to riverine communities along the rivers and lakes of hydroelectric dams across the Hyperdeck member states, and also recall the painful loss of several lives in both accidents, a development which caused untold hardship in the communities neighboring the Kainji Lake between the vicinity of Shagunu of the Boku Emirate in Niger State of the Wara Yara Emirate in Kebbi State. Benue State government says it has mobilized traditional rulers, religious leaders, media and other critical stakeholders to ensure an effective emergency response to mitigate the effects of the impending flood disaster in the state. The collaborative effort among stakeholders is geared towards protecting lives and property by downscaling early warnings and mitigation messages to the grassroots ahead of the flood. A statement by the Acting Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Sir James Lopu, disclosed this when he led members of the Technical Committee on the 2024 flood sensitization visit to Catholic Diocese of Otupo, the Och-Idoma Palace in Otupo, Benue State. He said there was the need for SEMA and the diocese to engage in deeper collaborations, particularly in the areas of humanitarian response and disaster preparedness. In his remark, Bishop of the Catholic Diocese, Otupo, Most Reverend Michael Opochi, thanked the theme for the visit and reaffirmed the Church's commitment to working closely with the government to provide necessary support for flood victims, and acknowledged the role of the Church in nation building as a pillar of the community, capable of offering not only material aids but also spiritual and psychological support for people affected by disasters. He thanked the Och-Idoma for his consistent partnership, stressing that traditional rulers must raise awareness about disaster preparedness and foster peace between affected populations and host communities. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has promised to provide a level playing ground for all political parties participating in the forthcoming local government election. This is coming after no fewer than 8 parties were expected to participate in the election slated for October 5, 2024. Alia, who spoke during the flag-off of the All Progressives Congress election campaign held in Boko, pledged a free and fair election, and represented by his deputy Sam Ode, the governor urged party supporters to work hard and ensure that the APC candidate won all the positions in all the coming polls. In his welcome address, the APC Caretaker Committee Chairman Benjamin Omale said the committee had played a vital role in addressing the concerns of aggrieved aspirants while ensuring that every voice was heard and valued, adding that the committee's effort had been instrumental in fostering unity and understanding within the party. He said that the state APC administration was committed to delivering their campaign promises and urged party supporters to come out en masse on October 5 and vote all candidates of the All Progressives Congress for better service delivery for the general good of the people. You're watching Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. This is still the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Spokesperson of the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Bayo Nanuga, said the President has expressed a desire to reshuffle his cabinet before October 1, but has not given any timeline. He says some ministers are expected to be dropped, while some may be moved to other ministries. Onanuga also said the President has given an order to all his ministers at the last Federal Executive Council meeting to go out there and speak about the works and activities of his administration. In Abuja, Joseph Moses Muyika completes the report.
Hello and welcome to another day for Atlantic TV Street Broadcasts. I am Joseph Moses Mawinka. In Abuja, we have come out to treat a topic that has to do with the presidency and the cabinet. And yesterday, the spokesperson of the president, Bayo Onanuga, says President Tinubu has expressed his desire to reshuffle his cabinet, meaning some ministers will be going while they will be replaced, and some ministers will be exchanged from their ministry to others. And we have come to ask questions from Nigerians to know who is to be sacked and from which ministry to which ministry any of these ministers can go and function well. So stay tuned to the Atlantic Street Broadcast as we give you the voices from the streets of Abuja.
I think 99% of them are not performing and they need to go. And it's to ask the EFCC to investigate what they have acquired within 1.5 years. And that is number one thing. A lot of them have stole public money, they have collected money from contractors, and EFCC need to investigate all of them thoroughly. And at the end of the day, if the president can allow the EFCC to do his job on this matter, I am certain that 99.9% of them will be out of that cabinet. And today, they are not doing anything. Inflation is almost 40% today. When they came, inflation was 30%. You know, and with the situation of Nigeria now, there is no improvement in any sectors. So they need to leave. You need to inject a new people in, including the CBN governors. What is he doing with monetary policies? Nothing is working. So all of them need to go. And you have less than 3 years to achieve this thing. No, he's not the president. The president have to contribute anyway. Look at when Jonathan was there. He brought Obasanjo. He brought Madam Ezekweli. He brought Okojo Iweala. A lot of these go. They perform excellently. He gave them autonomy to perform, and they did very well. And today Okojo Iweala is in World Bank, and Ezekweli is doing fine. They did very well then. Look at their history. It's about capability of individuals. It's not even about the president. It's to look for the best people. Nigeria at this critical time, Nigeria need a good people to handle our economy, to handle the situation of Nigeria. It's not these politicians that all they want is to loot the Nigeria treasury. A lot of them are court cases on what have they achieved before in their own primary assignment before you brought them into this system. So a lot of things need to be changed. If government, if Asiwaju want to be a good leader, you need to change a lot of the ministers. You need to send them away.
Another aspect for defense, and even his own state, calls them for a state. Look at how bandits are killing people every day. He could not do anything. So for me, even Tinubu should ask me as a person of my own opinion that which minister should they be sacked and replaced. The first minister I'll mention is that Motole because he did nothing. Shonasan, when he was governor, that is why the insecurity is somehow rampant in some states. So that is my reason why I say he's the first minister to be removed. Minister is a minister. Shonasan, the reason why some ministry has two ministers maybe is because of their responsibilities. It's very big. And if the honorable minister could not be oversee of everything, you as a minister, you advising, this is how it is, this is how it is. And particularly you are there and your people in your state, so look at how they are suffering. Can you tell me that you don't have right to talk to even honorable minister, even though he does have that capacity? So it's not a reason.
So that is the reason why. There is my own advice and suggestion. If Mr. Ahmed Tinubu will work with what I said, the Motole as a Zamfara state represents Zamfara in the dispense should be removed and replaced by somebody who has what's it called, love for his people from the some region to be replaced there. And I would that I know we are going to see a lot of change in that place.
Sacking the minister at this moment is not really the Nigeria problem. So because who is he going to put that is going to work? Because even I too that I'm standing here, if Mr. Prince should put me in this office, I will only follow the order of the president. But what I know that is not going to favor the masses. So even them they are there, they are taking order from the above. So they cannot maybe say to be reshuffled minister is really the Nigeria problem. It's not Nigeria problem at the moment. It's for them, it's Mr. President for them to call all of them in order, tell them, because you cannot say that you as the father of the house, you know your children are crying. Definitely you have to kind of think back.
In respect of president's decision to change his cabinet, to me it's a welcome development, and this will help the Nigeria at large, because he is the one that know them better, and he receives daily reports from them and from the nation as well. So in view of this, the decision is a good decision to me, and it's a welcome. I think it's a welcome development to Nigeria, and to help Nigeria a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for being there. You've heard from the voices of Nigeria, and we hope that the president gets this and he will be doing the right thing in order to favor Nigerians who elected him as the president. Our own is to see Nigeria work. It is see things working fine in Nigeria that will make us live in peace and harmony. I am Joseph Moses Mawinka, Atlantic Television Network News.
Federal government has secured a $600,000 relief fund and commitment from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The donation was disclosed when Vice President Kashim Shettima met with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, led by its head of Global Development Program, Dr. Christopher Elias, on the sidelines of the 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York. The senior special assistant to the Vice President on Media and Communications, Stanley Nkwocha, said the relief fund is to hasten relief efforts for victims of the devastating floods, as well as the health and agricultural sector reforms. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, who announced the fund on Monday, said the DRF would consider the unique threats posed by climate change by pooling funds from a broad spectrum of public and private sector players and international donors. Nigeria's Vice President Shettima reaffirmed the commitment of the administration of President Bola Tinubu of placing health, nutrition and agricultural development at the forefront of the nation's national agenda, adding that Nigerian government is dedicated to integrity and effective leadership in tackling the issues, pointing out that there is urgency in the securing locations of maize production under the Telemaize program. Senate passed the Southwest Development Commission Establishment Bill 2024 for third reading. The passage followed the presentation of a report by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Special Duties, Senator Kaka Shehu Lawan, during plenary. In his presentation, Senator Kaka said the bill is designed to foster socio-economic development of the Southwest region and will be used to address infrastructural deficit and tackle ecological challenges in the region. Following the presentation, the senator moved into the Committee of the Whole for a clause-by-clause consideration of the bill, which after it was passed for third reading, without in his remarks, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barau Jibrin, who presided over the session, commended the committee led by Senator Kaka for their efforts, adding that the Southwest Development Commission, like similar commissions recently established, would address both infrastructural and economical challenges in the region. He said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has already assented to similar bills for zonal development interventions and expressed confidence that he would do the same for the Southwest Development Commission bill. House of Representatives Committee has adopted the bill seeking for the approval of 288 billion naira supplementary budget for Federal Capital Territory Administration. President Bola Tinubu had an 8 billion naira supplementary budget was necessary for the view to accommodate additional inflows for the internally generated revenue and miscellaneous revenues in the sum of 8 billion naira and 280 billion naira respectively. Chairman House Committee on FCT, Honorable Aliyu Mukhtar Batera, who spoke during the budget defense, said there is need for accelerated consideration and passage of the supplementary appropriation bill for the implementation of critical developmental projects across the nation's capital city. He explained that the committee mandate includes to lay the report on supplementary budget during Thursday's plenary because of the critical projects which execution needs to start by next week because of the time frame. After the unanimous adoption of the supplementary budgets, the committee resolved to lay the reports during Thursday's plenary. House of Representatives has resolved to approve the bribery allegations against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) as well as the Nigeria Correctional Center following the disturbing and widely circulating publications emanated from Martin Vincent Ose against the two government institutions. The House reached the resolution during plenary after a motion by Honorable Patrick Umar that the publication alleges that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission dropped money laundering charges against Idris Okuneye. He said the publication alleges that Idris Okuneye, upon conviction for abuse and the facing of the naira by the court, did not serve his time at the Nigeria Correctional Service but was lodged outside the confines of the service. Umar expressed worry about the damning allegations against Nigeria and critical law enforcement agencies of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Nigeria Correctional Service established by this hallowed chambers to fight corruption and incarcerate persons convicted of crime of correctional purposes, respectively. The negative image portrayed Nigeria as a corrupt nation and Nigeria's struggle to redeem itself from such perception.
The urgent need to investigate the disturbing allegation of corruption against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Nigerian Correction Service to save Nigeria from ridicule. The House notes the disturbing and widely circulated publication emanating from Martin Vincent Ose, also known as Very Dark Man, against critical Nigerian law enforcement institutions, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and Nigerian Correctional Service. The House also notes the publication alleges that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) dropped money laundering charges against Idris Okuneye, also known as Bobrisky, upon collection of the sum of 15 million naira. This House further notes that the publication alleges that the Idris Okuneye, upon conviction for abuse and defacing of the naira by the court, did not serve his time at the Nigeria Correctional Service, but was lodged outside the confines of the service. Disturbed about the damning allegations against Nigerian critical law enforcement agencies of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Nigerian Correctional Service, established by these hallowed chambers to fight correction and incarceration persons, the urgent need to investigate the
Honorable Patrick Umar, the committee is expected to report to the House within 3 legislative weeks. Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi-San has denied claims that a United States District Court authorized Louis E. Williams to seize $21 million from Nigeria's account with J.P. Morgan. The Minister of Justice, in a statement signed by the AGF, clarified that the inaccuracies first published by an online media platform were completely false and criticized the reports for failing to seek the ministry's response and challenged the media outlets to provide a copy of any U.S. court order related to any alleged seizure. It said the U.S. District Court has authorized any seizure of Nigerian government funds, adding that the court's decision of August 21, 2024 would now proceed to a substantive hearing. A British Nigerian businessman, Williams, had narrated that he abused the defrauded by Nigerian Domestic Intelligence Office of 1980s and was demanding the order of the court to withdraw $21 million from Nigeria's account of JP Morgan's damages. Speaking on the decision of the court, the Justice Ministry said the implication of the ruling rendered August 21, 2024 is that the case will now proceed to the substantive hearing on merit, wherein parties are required to present evidence and legal submission in support of their case before the court will issue a final decision. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tari Labaja has called on media organizations in the country to collaborate with the military in reporting accurate and balanced news involving the Nigerian Army to ensure national security and development. The course made the Pili Makodi, the Benue State capital, on Thursday during Nigerian Army Civil Military Cooperation Media Chat. Third quarter 2024 tagged the media and the military allies in pursuit of national security. Labaja, who was represented on the occasion by the Commander for Special Forces, Doma Nasarawa State, Major General Hilary Zan, said the program was organized by the Army, recognized the pivotal roles of the media in sharing or shaping public opinions and informing the public of happenings in the country. He narrated that for any security outfit to succeed in activities, there was need for collaboration with the media, who stands as a link between the military and the members of the public. Adding that the partnership between the Army and the media is essential in achieving national security goals and also critical for the maintenance of peace and order in this country. While reiterating Nigerian Army's commitment to remain political and loyal to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Lieutenant General Labaja assured that Nigerian Army under his watch would do everything within its powers to protect and uphold the human rights of the citizens while discharging its duties. The COAS therefore urged journalists at the media chat to use the avenue to examine and identify all aspects of human rights violation to enable the Army make more efforts towards protecting lives of civilians in the conflict areas of the country. As Nigeria approaches 64th Independent Day, the federal government has lauded the country's 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, calling it a testament of the will of the Nigerian people to sustain freedom and liberty for future generations. Speaking at the World Press Briefing in Abuja on Thursday, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, described Nigeria's journey since independence as one of resilience, strength and progress despite numerous challenges, and described the country's evolution into the leading force in Africa as a respected voice on the global stage. He says since Nigeria gained independence in 1960, Nigeria has evolved from a nation of hope and potential into a leading force on the African continent and a respected voice in the global community, adding that despite some challenges, Nigerians weathered the storm and remained committed to the democratic values and showcasing the military of the political system. Idris commended the President Bola Tinubu's administration for initiating transformative reforms aimed at repositioning Nigeria's economy despite global challenges, adding that the key reforms highlighted was President's push for local government autonomy and to address long-hindered rural socio-economic development. It just revealed that the President had taken the landmark step of seeking a Supreme Court verdict to implement the autonomy as well as the significant shift towards grassroots governance. National Association of Nigerian Students has called on the federal government to meet with the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of universities regarding the recent strike threat. The student body said a strike was not advisable at this time, and NANS Senate President Akinteye Babatunde disclosed this in Abuja following a fresh 14-day ultimatum issued by ASU over failed negotiations with the federal government. This is coming after ASU gave the federal government a 14-day ultimatum to resolve as well as several lingering issues. ASU is seeking the conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 FGN ASU agreement based on NIMI BRICS Committee's draft agreement of 2021 as well as the release of withheld salaries due to the 2022 strike action. Additionally, ASU is demanding the release of unpaid salaries for staff and sabbatical part-time and a joint appointment affected by the integrated payroll and personal information system and the payment of outstanding third-party deductions such as the check-offs, dues and cooperative contributions. ASU President Professor Emmanuel Osodoke, in a statement issued on Wednesday, expressed frustration with the government's lack of commitment and delayed tactics, stating that these actions were fueling a crisis in the public university system, while the union said it had consulted with various stakeholders and was calling on well-meaning Nigerians to urge the government to address these issues. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has filed fresh charges against the wanted former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, accusing him of 110 billion naira fraud. The EFCC had initially filed 19 charges against the former Kogi governor along with his nephew Ali Bello Dauda Suleiman and Abdul Salam Hudu for money laundering offences amounting to 80 billion naira. However, in a fresh 16 charges dated September 25, the total sum of the money laundering offences rose to 110 billion naira, and Bello Umar Oricha and Abdusalam Mudu were listed as the first to third defendants. He, alongside other defendants, was alleged to have bought a total of 12 houses in various locations in Abuja with the money they alleged to have committed criminal breach of trust in respect of total sum 110 billion naira entrusted to them. The offence, the AFCC said, was contrary to Section 311 of the Penal Code Law, Caption 89, Laws of the Northern Nigeria 1963, and punishable under Section 312 of the same law. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has denied sacking the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi, as governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria for alleging that $49.8 billion went missing from the country's coffers. Jonathan said Sanusi was suspended because of the Financial Reporting Council queried CBN's expenditure and his tenure elapsed during, or adding that an international audit firm was employed to scrutinize the CBN and it was discovered that no amount went missing, contrary to Sanusi's claim. Jonathan spoke at the launch of the book Public Policy and Agents' Interest, Perspectives from the Emerging World, co-authored by former Minister of Finance Shamsuddin Usman, who served as Minister of Planning under his government. He said the budget was $31.6 billion, while $50 billion in salaries were paid. Nobody felt anything, and adding that the researchers who wrote the book need to do further research. Federal government has approved the increase of core members' allowance to 77,000 naira effective from July 2024, adding that the statement by the NYSC Acting Director of Information and Public Relations, Caroline Embu, the approval was contained in a letter by the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission that was dated September 25, 2024 and signed by the chairman of EPO Nta, in line with the enactment of the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act of 2024. Before the increase, core members were paid a monthly allowance of 33,000, following an upward review of minimum wage to 30,000 in 2019. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the new minimum wage bill into law on July 29, 2024, and the law stipulated the sum of 70,000 naira as minimum wage. Following the approval of the new minimum wage, speculations had followed the increase in corpus pay, with the NYSC management insisting that the increase in corpus allowance could only be determined by the federal government. In a statement, Embu said the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Yushau Ahmed, had paid an advocacy visit to the chairman where he solicited for a robust welfare package for core members and thanked the government for the gesture, adding that it will not only bring succor to the corpers but also boost their morale to do more in service of the nation. Administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Dr. Dennis Otuaro, has promised to ensure participation of more women in the Niger Delta peace process. Otuaro made the pledge while addressing a cross-session of Niger Delta women at a meeting in Warri Delta State on Tuesday. The meeting had the theme Niger Delta Women Empowerment, pinnacle for peace, stability and economic growth in the region. He said his administration will ensure the inclusion of more Niger Delta women in the implementation of the PAP mandate, adding that the women folk of the region would be an integral part of the consultation process initiated by the PAP Office for its peace building efforts to foster sustainable peace, stability and economic growth in the area. The meeting was part of an expanded Niger Delta stakeholders engagement by the Presidential Amnesty Program Office with traditional rulers, opinion leaders, women groups and youth body leaders and members of the various faces, amongst others. According to a statement that was issued by the Special Assistant on Media to the PAP Administrator, Mr. Igoniko Oduma, Otuaro at the meeting stressed that women deserve more inclusion because many female activists and youth actively participated in Niger Delta struggle, adding that several female youths also suffered great personal losses, while the women folk alongside their communities became the first casualties in the attendant conflict resulting from the agitation. Ohaneze Ndibo worldwide has berated some Igbo leaders who are clamoring for an acting president general to replace Ohaneze leader Chief Emmanuel, and described the move as anti-Igbo culture. The call was gathered across from the death of both Chief Emmanuel Iwayawu and his Deputy President General Chief Joel Kroham from River State, and while reacting to the call, the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Group, through its National Publicity Secretary Alex Obonia, described the call even before Iwaya was buried as against the Igbo culture. A statement, Obonia said it was unbelievable that while Nigerians of all persuasions had shown uncompromising commitment for the burial, some Igbo people were busy holding meetings on the enthronement of an acting president general, adding that the Ohaneze Ndibo reserves comment on the activities of such actors, especially where most of them are titled men who are well versed in the nuances of Igbo cosmology. Speaking on the leadership of the cultural organization, his Secretary General Ambassador Oke Emuche assured the Igbo race that the ship of the Ohaneze is in safe hands under the capable leadership of its National Executive Committee, and urged all to join hands in the burial rites of the Igbo leader, with reassurances that the appropriate mechanism of an Ohaneze leadership will be applied shortly after befitting funeral rites to the Igbo leader on November 1, 2024. Civil servants under the federal government's payroll will start receiving the new minimum wage payment from Thursday, 26th of September. The spokesperson of the Office of Accountant General of Federation, Bawa Mokwa, who disclosed this, assured these workers will begin to get a lot of new minimum wage salary payment starting from on Thursday. This comment comes after the chairman of National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, Ekpo Nta, adding that the consolidated public service salary structure is in line with the Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024. And now on business news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says extracting raw materials in Africa without processing locally is keeping the continent poor and underdeveloped. He warned against the dire consequences of Africa's long-standing profile as a supplier of raw materials to countries of other continents, saying the position had added to the continent's misery. Tinubu made this observation while delivering his keynote address during the African Minerals Strategy Group meeting on the sidelines of the ongoing 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in United States. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, Tinubu argued that while Africa holds a significant portion of the world's mineral resources, including 92% of global platinum, 56% of cobalt, and 54% of manganese, these resources have been primarily extracted and exported to foreign countries for refining and manufacturing, and stressed an urgent need for the continent to break free from its dependency, stating that the extraction of raw materials without local processing only prolonged its economic challenges. The senior special assistant to the Vice President of Media and Communications, Stanley Wokocha, in a statement he signed titled President Tinubu's Africa role as raw material supplier solidifying its misery, said a statement on situation in which the raw materials are extracted from our country, exported, refined and sold to us as finished products merely consolidates the foundation of the misery and pushes further down the depth of underdevelopment. He called on African nations to adopt a new agenda that prioritizes local value addition, which he sees as essential to industrializing the continent and providing sustainable growth for all. Analysts have commended the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria in its proactiveness in tackling the issues of petroleum scarcity in the country. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Atlantic Blowout, a socio-political analyst, Ekie C. Ekie, described the suggestions of Pengasen as being patriotic and thoughtful strategy for Nigeria.
Trying to cause strike, but they have always contributed, giving federal government solutions to most of the challenges. And I think it's a patriotic actions not a destructive actions that you see some union leaders all the way to calculate is protest. Protest is not the solution to our problem. We need proactive leaders, leaders that will contribute. You know, when you hear them talk, it's...
He also tasked the federal government on the need for a well-defined memorandum of operations and pricing between the federal government and Dangote's refinery.
Because if the contract between Aliko Dangote Group and the federal government through the NNPCL was well defined, I do not think that most of the crises, the issues we are having right now, we will have them. And I also believe that the Pengassan knew that the federal government can increase their stake.
This is coming as the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria had called on the federal government to increase its stake in Dangote Refinery to 45% from the current 7%, while Pengassan said it is in line to foster product availability to meet local demand and ensure energy assurance and security for the citizens. House of Representatives has urged Aliko Dangote, the owner of Dangote Refinery, to disclose the cost he is selling petroleum from his refinery to NNPCL and other major marketers. The lawmakers also asked NNPCL to disclose the amount the refinery is paying for crude oil. This resolution followed a motion that was moved by Oboku in 4G on Thursday during plenary, where there had been dispute between NNPCL and Dangote Refinery over the cost per litre of petrol from the refinery. This is coming after the NNPCL had claimed to be buying petrol at 898 naira per litre from Dangote, while the refiner disputed the figure, stating that it is selling less than the amount, while the lawmakers urged the management of Dangote Refinery to build, acquire or partner to get tank farms or depot across the geopolitical zones in the country. In the motion, of 4G commended the refinery for its impact on energy sovereignty of the country, adding that Nigeria is driving towards energy self-sufficiency, cost and foreign exchange savings, meeting the increasing demand for fuels, as well as attraction of foreign capital investment, generation of forex through export of finished product. Minister of Finance Wale Edun says the federal government has outlined a strategy to increase domestic agricultural production and increase food security. Edun disclosed this at a press conference in Abuja on Thursday to mark the country's 64th Independence Day, declared that the era of heavy food importation must end, and insisted on driving the shift as a cornerstone of the government's economic recovery plan. The government, he said, was committed to maximum support for small-scale farmers by providing critical inputs like seed fertilizer under schemes such as the Nigeria Agricultural Growth Scheme, adding that the government's initiative will focus on enhancing both the wet and dry season harvest and reduce the need for imports in the short term while boosting productivity in the long term. This comes as the Central Bank of Nigeria data showed that the country spent 903.95 billion naira on food imports in the first quarter of 2024 alone, as inflation stood at 32.15% in August. Analysts assess the federal government on the need to establish and sustain a more robust, competitive economy. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, Emmanuel Weke, said an active economy will go a long way to address the issues of unemployment and high cost of petroleum products.
A child that is able to save from this 77K must be a very disciplined child in terms of finance handling, money handling. Otherwise, why would 77K? I've done the analysis, transport alone. No, we've not gone to food. God help you, you are into socials, excessive ones, you are gone. You can't do 70 except you'll be doing other stuffs. Are you getting me? Maybe places of primary assignment.
Wake also expressed dissatisfaction with the NYC core members' allowance of 77,000 naira monthly.
But that it would have been better we have a more robust economy, a more competitive economy, where cost of living could be fetchable. Anybody can say, I can, at least petrol, for instance, where we have the powers, the federal government has the powers to ensure that to buy petrol at 300, to make it competitive. For example, if they say
This is coming after the federal government had approved the monthly allowance of 77,000 for National Youth Service Corps with effect from July 24. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy Adeboyega Oyetola says the federal government will implement policies and programs to ensure the safety and security of the country's waterways. According to a statement by the minister's spokesman, Ismail Omipidan, Oyetola, who disclosed this ahead of the World Maritime Day in Lagos, described the theme as a fitting narrative of President Bola Tinubu's administration aspiration to develop Nigeria into a leading maritime hub in Africa, adding that the first major step by the president in navigating the future of Nigeria was the creation of Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, while following it up with other policies and programs that would ensure the safety of the country's waterways. He said Nigeria had reasons to celebrate, expressing the country's commitment to sustaining the gains of the Deep Blue project to ensure maximum security of the country's maritime domain, adding that the enhanced security is responsible for the record of zero piracy by Nigeria in the last 24 months. He said the theme for the 2024 World Maritime Day reflected the International Maritime Organization's effort at enhancing maritime safety and security in line with the protection, and mentioned the efforts of the ministry to ensure that the nation's ports compete favorably with the other ports across the globe. The Osun State former governor said that vessels were already supporting port security patrol and surveillance and were helping deliver efficient pilotage and towage services to help growing cargo evacuation needs of the Lekki Maritime Corridor, while the minister revealed that those are parts of steps securing the port, enhancing their efficiency and strengthening Nigeria's position as a leading maritime nation in the region. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Henekin Lokpobiri had reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to a strong partnership with the Nigerian Institution of Petroleum Engineers to advance the oil and gas industry through capacity building. Lokpobiri, while receiving the delegation of the institution led by the national chairman, Priska Kanebi, in his office in Abuja, recently reiterated the ministry's readiness to collaborate with NIPET in the key areas, including capacity building in universities and enhancing professional practice to boost sustained oil production in Nigeria. At the meeting, national chairman of the NIPET formally invited the minister of the institution's third annual conference to be held in Abuja Continental Hotel on October 31st and November 1. She outlined NIPET's goals, which included fostering collaboration between industry and academia in petroleum engineering, acting as a watchdog for education and professional practices, and encouraging major industry operators to sponsor training equipment and laboratories at universities. Kanebi highlighted NIPET's initiative to facilitate sabbaticals for academic petroleum engineers with leading Nigeria exploration and production companies, enabling them to provide fresh insight into operational challenges. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria LNG, Philip, is calling for the supply for more liquefied petroleum gas into the domestic market to stop unclean cooking from spreading. Adding to a statement, he spoke at the Global Leadership Panel on Energy Inclusion at the George R. Brown Convention Center, Texas, United States. NLNG currently supplies almost 40% of Nigeria's LPG demand in the country and delivering over 400,000 tons. The MDNLNG reiterated that developing nations like Nigeria would need huge investments in infrastructure development to drive their energy transition, efficiency and equitability. Then decried of the quality infrastructure like insufficient pipeline storage and regasification facilities, high cost of importing LNG, as well as energy poverty like limited access to affordable energy and key issues they must be addressed. He reaffirmed that they are addressing these challenges and leveraging on solutions. Emerging economies can widen access to natural gas and support lower carbon energy transition and energy inclusion, and stressed that global energy policymakers must create energy equity and inclusion to ensure that the average African woman's daily energy needs are met. He said that the Nigerian government and also could meet the energy needs of the growing population using natural gas as transition fuel. Nigerian Gas Association has called on Nigerian government to implement a transportation policy mandating the use of gas-powered vehicles for public transportation and government activities. The president, Akachukwu Nwokedi, who disclosed this in a call in a statement, said that the formal adoption of such a policy will promote cleaner energy sources aligned with the sustainability goals of the government, help reduce the nation's reliance on petrol and diesel, and attract the necessary investment in downstream infrastructure that will create jobs and domesticate technology while facilitating successful implementation. The NGA president commended the government's incremental adoption of the compressed natural gas for transportation, emphasizing the importance of sustaining the momentum, and acknowledged the efforts of the presidential compressed natural gas initiative in deploying CNG conversion kits and urged the PCNGI to improve its gains in advancing the NGA. Also congratulated Greenville LNG on completing its second test drive of LNG powered trains, saying it marked another pivotal milestone in Nigeria's transition to more sustainable energy solutions. Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission says the 2024 oil bid is processing according to plan. NEPRC Chief Executive Benga Komolafel disclosed this after an event in Lagos recently, said the exercise was progressing smoothly in line with the schedule of the commission, and expressed happiness over the bid round. During the pre-bid conference that was held recently in Lagos, it announced that President Bola Tinubu had reduced the signature bonus payable by successful bidders from around $200 million to $10 million. According to Komolafel, the NEPRC surveyed what other countries like Brazil demand as signature bonuses from would-be investors and discovered the need to slash that Nigeria, adding that the heavy signature bonus is a front entry barrier in the Nigeria oil sector. NEPRC Assistant Director, Multi-Client Surveys and Regional Studies, Ahmed Abdullahi, disclosed that interested bidding organization must possess a financial capacity of about $200 million for deep offshore, $150 million for shallow water and onshore. Federal government through the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency in partnership with the Stakeholder Democracy Network has developed a satellite-based methane tracker to tackle oil spillage in Nigeria. The team led for SDN, an international non-governmental organization, Adam Hill, who disclosed this in Abuja during a visit to NOSDRA's headquarters, said the satellite-based technology is an emerging initiative used to identify hotspots where methane is emerging. He said the development will enable regulators like the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency and other agencies to cooperate with oil and gas companies to respond to emission, fix the problem, and reduce the adverse impact on the environment, adding that methane is an important gas in terms of climate change and several times worse than carbon dioxide, but if tackled, there are better chances of reaching long-term climate goals. On his part, Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, Chukwuemeka Woke, said the agency is keen on promoting transparency and accountability in the oil industry, which made it to support initiatives in the development of the Nigeria Oil Spill Monitor, adding that the prototype emitting tracker that had been developed would generate to impute Nigeria's carbon emission submission through the Department of Climate Change. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. Israeli Army Chief has indicated that the military is preparing for a possible ground invasion of Lebanon. Hezi Halevi, the head of Israel's military, said its airstrike in Lebanon this week were aiming to destroy Hezbollah's infrastructure and to pave the way for Israeli forces to be on the ground. According to the report, Halevi said the goal of the invasion is to allow the tens of thousands of Israelis who had been displaced by cross-border fire in the north of the country to return to their homes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu echoed same when he said that his country will not rest until the northern residents can return home. The Israel Defense Forces also said it was calling up to reserve brigades because of the conflict with Hezbollah. France had unveiled a proposal for a 21-day ceasefire in Lebanon in a UN diplomatic push with the United States as the death toll mounted from strikes by Israel against Hezbollah. Shortly after the talks of the United Nations between President Joe Biden and Emmanuel Macron, France outlined the proposal at an Emergency Security Council session. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot said that the two Western powers were proposing a truce of 21 days to allow for negotiations and a more sustainable ceasefire. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged an immediate ceasefire in Lebanon and warned, while Israel said it welcomed diplomacy in Lebanon but did not commit to a ceasefire, while vowing to pursue its goals, degrading Hezbollah. The violence comes in the failure to reach a ceasefire in Gaza, where Israel for nearly a year had been seeking to wipe out another Iranian ally, Hamas, which carried out the deadliest attack over the Israel. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned that turn, which in recent weeks had been back retaliatory strikes on Israel and attacks targeting Iranian interests may no longer be retrained. No fewer than 19 major railway stations across Britain had been hit by cyber attacks. The attack was said to have impacted the railway station's public Wi-Fi system for passengers, and amongst railway stations affected are London, Euston, Manchester, Piccadilly, Liverpool, Lime Street and Birmingham New Street and Gaslow Central. Others include Bristol, Temple Meads, Edinburgh, Waverley, Leeds, Guildford and Reading, and 10 London stations affected are Cannon Street, Charing Cross and the rest of them. But the British Transport Police had launched an investigation after travellers lodging into the Wi-Fi at stations reported seeing a message about terror attacks in Europe, while Wi-Fi at the affected stations is controlled by a third-party provider called Talent, Mail Online reports. The Wi-Fi was still down on Thursday morning at the stations. And now in sports, Germany legend Lothar Matthäus had insisted that Manchester City Rodri deserved to win the 2024 Ballon d'Or ahead of the Real Madrid Vinicius Jr. According to Matthäus, the Spain international is a leader who behind the reason for this country to be winning Euro 2024 and Man City winning the Premier League. The 2024 Ballon d'Or will be announced in October, and both Vinicius and Rodri are among top contenders for the award. Osimhen says that he gets along well with other Galatasaray strikers. Okunburuk's side, the fearsome attack, and also include Moro Michi, and the Argentine is expected to pair Osimhen up front. Osimhen has started 3 games since the arrival of the Istanbul Giants, including the Wednesday night's UEFA Europa League clash with PAOK Thessaloniki, and they are all ready to help the team instead of relating as rivals. And now on entertainment news, Minister of Interior Olubimi Tunji-Ojo has ordered a thorough investigation into allegations of bribery within Nigeria's correctional service. Although the minister did not mention any specific case, his directive comes on the heels of a voice note shared by Martin Tose, aka Very Dark Man, in which Idris Okude, popularly known as Bobrisky, claimed that after his conviction and sentencing for abuse of the Naira notes in April, his godfather, in collaboration with the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, arranged for him to serve his 6-month sentence in a private apartment. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana Sand denied any involvement with Bobrisky and gave Very Dark Man a 24-hour ultimatum to retract the statement he made linking him to Bobrisky. In the same viral voice note, Bobrisky also allegedly claimed that he paid a 15 million naira bribe to officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to drop money laundering charges against him, leaving only abuse of naira charges, of which he was convicted and sentenced. The minister said the permanent secretary of the ministry, Magdalene Adjani, would head the team investigating the allegation, while Falana had written a pre-action letter to Very Dark Man, who disseminated a voice note demanding a retraction of the alleged defamatory statement against him. Mark Agnifilo, attorney of disgraced American rapper and music executive Sean Combs, aka Diddy, has explained why 1,000 bottles of baby oil were found in his client's Beverly Hills mansion in March during a raid by federal officers. Federal officers had said that the supplies were intended for use in orgies known as freak-offs. The lawyer also claimed that Diddy's freak-offs were typically threesomes with Diddy, his ex-girlfriend Cassie, and another male, and not orgies as claimed by federal authorities. This is coming after Diddy was recently arrested by Homeland Security as suspicion of sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy of interstate transportation for prostitution. Diddy has denied all charges and has been reportedly placed on suicide watch amid his trial. And that's the global news for tonight, but before we go, another look at the major